What's up, everybody? My name is Trey, and I am going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be delving into some analysis, some music, pop music analysis, and it's an idea and something I wanted to explore a little bit for a while. And I decided that I was going to wait until I had a project or something that was released that really captured me and made me think, really got me, I would say, just in analysis mode, trying to figure out, okay, what's happening here? What's next? And I have two, I'm working on two, or this is one, and I'm working on a second piece or second video of analysis in the music space. But the first one that I wanted to put out is this one, which is focusing on just kind of talking through the strategy and talking through Chlöe's Treat Me and kind of what that means for this moment in her solo career, and why it has just been such a impactful and very much a moment, specifically the release of the video, the lead up to that, and then also the release of the single itself. Why it's just making such huge waves in the music industry, across entertainment, but really just exciting people in the pop music space. So we're going to jump into that. Now, Chlöe's debut, her debut solo single, Mercy, that came out way back in 2021. So there were several months between the release of Chlöe's debut single and then her follow-up single, Treat Me, which is tied to, as for now, is tied to her upcoming solo album. Chlöe performed Mercy at the 2021 MTV, the VMAs. And that performance alone was definitely like her coming out, her separation, or kind of very much stamping her individual music persona and personality outside of Chlöe and Halle, which I still do not understand how. Ungodly Hour, if you have not listened to it, you need to go listen to it right now. Such a dope project all around. Also, the fact that they had really the song of the summer in 2020, Do It. Very much a project that kind of set the groundwork for what I was expecting from Chlöe. But then she also kind of went totally to the left of what I expected at the same time, which that's always exciting to see. And it's always great to see when artists kind of just push and challenge those expectations, especially out the gate with their debut solo work and their debut solo projects. We had Chlöe with Mercy, and that kind of set a tone of what I think a lot of us were expecting. But then there was a bit of a lull and a break, and I remember sitting and thinking, okay, well, what's next? I know she's cooking. I know Chlöe and Parkwood, just seeing what they did with Ungodly Hour, there definitely had to be something in the works. So then we get to 2022, and Chlöe starts teasing Treat Me. And first she teased us with just a snippet of the song, which everybody was confused as to exactly what this was going to be or not going to be. Then, as we got closer to when the song was supposed to be released, she starts teasing video clips of the music video. And the song ended up dropping. The song and the video dropped on the same night. I love the strategy around giving me a track, give me a track, and immediately give me a visual with which I can attach. And also that's partly emotional as a music listener. So now I have a visual that every time I hear this song, I'm also thinking about that music video. And it's so smart. I think there's a duality. Like, you can take the approach, that more traditional approach of you drop your song first, you get people to learn it, you market that, and then you move and drop the video a little bit later to continue to extend the legs of that track. But in the way we consume music now, and you probably can call that the Beyonce, the self-titled effect, there's just as much, I think, impact and power that comes from, for an artist, that comes from making sure you have a video ready as soon as you're about to drop a new single. And Chlöe took the latter strategy, and when I tell you, she, like, perfect. It was perfect. I remember I was midnight. I'm waiting to see, okay, I don't know what to expect with the song. I did not think I was going to like the song. I wasn't sure, but I didn't know from the snippet that she released if I was really going to like it. Listen to the song, listen to it more and more over the weekend, because it came out on a Friday. Fell in love with the song. At this point now, I am 100% into Treat Me. I know all the lyrics. Let's go. Karaoke battle, I'm gonna win. But the video, I think the video is very much what, one, drove a lot of conversation. Definitely lets you know where Chlöe is coming from as far as how she's viewing the space that she occupies as an artist, what she wants to say, and out the gate, she's owning her agency as a woman. And I think this video, it very much encompasses, especially after I watched the behind the scenes that she released maybe like a week ago. She released a behind the scenes on her YouTube channel, kind of giving some more context on what went into making the Treat Me video. It gave me a lot more of an understanding of what she was trying to do and the story she was trying to tell. When you think of artist strategy, with our Ungodly Hour, we definitely had a pretty set expectation, like I said, of what we could think or expect Chlöe to do. Something that most likely would be aligned visually. Now, Zarina styled them down. Zarina Akers styled Chlöe and Halle down during the Ungodly Hour era. Sonically, you know that Chlöe, she produces a good amount of their work. They both write. So all of those elements off of a project that was critically lauded and then also commercially very successful. It spun a viral hit, Do It. It had a lot of the markers commercially, but then also culturally success as far as people knowing, people getting even more connected to Chlöe and Halle through that project. You have this groundwork laid. When you go solo, as I said earlier, you can kind of go two routes. Go very expected, then branch off. Go unexpected, have to very much step into and own that as an artist. Never really have to branch off because, hey, out the gate, I gave you something that might have been a little bit off of what you thought was going to come from me. With Chlöe, I didn't know what we were going to get. I will be honest. I saw that I was like, I know with how talented she is as a producer, she's going to give us something a little bit different. Mercy definitely, when you think of the song structure alone, was an immediate clue that she's not going to give us, I guess you could say kind of like cookie cutter pop music and what we're consuming and kind of what's on the charts right now. When you think of vocal styling, so tone, lyrically, again, song structure. So I can think with like Mercy, the way that the song builds itself is not necessarily like anything that was out on the radio at the time. Elementally, where she's jumping in between, these singing, these melodic parts. Then she's going to give you a rap, the audacity. Not necessarily like anything that we're hearing from a singer in the pocket of singers that Chlöe is. She's a vocalist. So that already is setting her apart. The thing about Treat Me is, with Treat Me, Chlöe very much took that Mercy, I won't say the formula, so not the song formula, but she took that formula of more largely flipping it on its head, what people are expecting. She juxtaposed out the gate what she had already given us, and I think the route a lot of people were thinking she would go. So even when you think visually with this video that's very Scream Queens, you got the sorority house and the missing guys, the statues, but it was something that I think for some folks was more, you could say expected in a sense. But then she goes very vampy, very dark, moody, it's, this really a rock star, this dark tone, both sonically with the song, but then also the visual, and it's hitting so hard, just done so well. Done so well, in such a great way to, not one, define herself as a solo artist, okay? That's part of the big problem, especially when you're coming out of a group, is defining herself. And her and Halle have done a great job, both celebrating their togetherness, so celebrating their strength as a group, but also celebrating their individuality and pointing us to what makes them different from each other, even as each other. So Chlöe will let you know what makes her different from Halle, But then Hallie will let you know what makes Chlöe different from her as well. I've always loved their relationship and how much they work to make space for who they are, individually, but then again, like I said, together. With Chlöe and in the Treat Me moment, I think that dark and that vampy energy that was set with this project or with this single, and with the video, it has allowed her to drive a conversation in a way that you want to now as an artist, and not in a gimmicky way either. Because when you think of really the creative, the artistic quality of the song, if you really sit down and think of the elements of what makes up Treat Me, you have this spoken, intro, which is a rap, a bit of a rap, but also she's still singing through it as well. This kind of combination we don't hear that very often. And then when you go, we're jumping from what I would say is like a more traditional kind of sing. You go broke trying to handle me. This spoken rap. You jump into the second verse that is very much a pure rap. Then you're jumping to the end where now she's giving us runs, these repetitions of like in the try, like all of these things come together in a way that is, all music is unique, but no song is the same. You could say there's something different even if you're doing a cover, but it's something refreshing that we're not hearing, we haven't heard, especially from, like I said, Chlöe is a vocalist. It's something new and fresh that we have not necessarily heard. Also from a Black woman artist, who very much is getting a lot of traction. Her and really Normani at this point, with a sound that is refreshing and something new. Then you jump into the music video, and Chloe's giving you 8 counts, which I have loved the return of 8 counts and these dance breaks that is being reflected across. Specifically, women of music are dancing down now. And, I'm the 90s, 2000s, that's where I really came and started very strongly shaping my opinions and kind of what I love about music, really engaging with it as a consumer. And, that was the boy band, the girl band era. I came up through like making the band era. So, dancing has always been an important part of what I've considered to be elements that I love about some of my favorite artists and my favorite groups. But it has been so exciting to see so many artists that you might not even necessarily expect to be taking on these 8 counts. Some better than others, but Chloe's always ready. So, she's gonna give it to you regardless. And the dance break, the smartness of, even in the behind the scenes, when I was watching the video initially, I was thinking that the dance sequence were cut, like split up, so we weren't seeing all the choreo. But then once I saw the behind the scenes video that she posted, I'm like, oh, this is smart. The genius and the vision that we're seeing the dance sequence. She splits it up with other shots, but we are seeing the full movement as you're moving from the first frame of the dance sequence to the last part of that dance sequence. But they just so smartly split it up with these real quick shots in the middle, that breaks the flow of the movements, but you're seeing the full elements of the dance sequences. Like these kind of things that I wouldn't know, one, if I didn't have the behind the scene footage to add to it. But again, it just kind of gave me more of a clue into how Chlöe is approaching defining her artistry, and very much also there's an air of fun. Even the song itself, when you listen to the lyrics, she's very much, there's that agency part of it of, treat me like I treat me. Definitely, a double entendre. So you can take it from multiple angles as far as what she's talking about, treating her. What's up, everybody? My name is Trey, and I am going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be delving into some analysis, some pop music analysis, and it's an idea and something I wanted to explore a little bit for a while. And I decided that I was going to wait until I had a project or something that was released that really, really captured me and made me think really got me, I would say, just in analysis mode, trying to figure out, okay, what's happening here? What's next? And I have two, I'm working on two, or this is one, and I'm working on a second piece or second video of analysis in the music space. But the first one that I wanted to put out is this one, which is focusing on just kind of talking through the strategy and talking through Chlöe's Treat Me and kind of what that means for this moment in her solo career, and why it has just been such a impactful and very much a moment, specifically the release of the video, the lead up to that, and then also the release of the single itself. Why it's just making such huge waves in the music industry, across entertainment, but really just exciting people in the pop music space. So we're going to jump into that. What's up, everybody? My name is Trey, and I am going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be delving into some analysis, some music, pop music analysis, and it's an idea and something I wanted to explore a little bit for a while. And I decided that I was going to wait until I had a project or something that was released that really captured me and made me think, really got me, I would say, just in analysis mode, trying to figure out, okay, what's happening here? What's next? And I have two, I'm working on two, or this is one, and I'm working on a second piece or second video of analysis in the music space. But the first one that I wanted to put out is this one, which is focusing on just kind of talking through the strategy and talking through Chlöe's Treat Me and kind of what that means for this moment in her solo career, and why it has just been such a impactful and very much a moment, specifically the release of the video, the lead up to that, and then also the release of the single itself. Why it's just making such huge waves in the music industry, across entertainment, but really just exciting people in the pop music space. So we're going to jump into that. Came out, I wanted to see it. I kept watching the video over the weekend. I wanted to watch it just because I was so really enamored by the artistry that I was seeing. And it took me a while to really fully warm up to the song because I was like, I need to know these, I gotta learn these lyrics. How am I jumping between verse 1, verse 2? But once I got it, I got it. But yeah, I think that Chlöe is, if Treat Me is any sign of what we're going to get from her as a solo artist, there's always been her, well, Chlöe and Halle, but then just as a producer, and we get to see her work on her Instagram as she's like working on her music and kind of coming up with a lot of her concepts. There's always been this draw for me to very much kind of inside the mind of the artist, and she shines you in a little bit, but there's always this kind of coyness, this something pulling you in as a music consumer, that it's like, oh, you're not telling us everything, and I'm glad you're not, because I'm going to be left surprised. Treat Me was one of those moments, and it's very much has me excited to see how a song like that, and very much I will say a precedent-setting song, when you think you think of the combination of elements that came together to make it what it is. You think of the moment itself, the release, the strategy behind the Treat Me single release, the thought that went into that as well, the video, the visual, how they pulled this story together. I know, I'm like, this solo, Chlöe won this first album. I cannot wait to see what this represents in the larger body of work. Honestly, even if it's on the album, because sometimes, a lot of times you'll have like that buzz single that ends up not making the cut. We don't know really what is going to come of Treat Me, but she did such an expert job, and no surprise because she's been in the game for a minute and is also, basically an extension of, and has been, her career has somewhat been, I'm sure, shaped and influenced. As far as you can tell, she studies too. She studies music, she studies the artists, she studies the greats. But having that Parkwood connection, that Beyonce connection, I'm sure some form of mentoring probably happens there too. But there also seems to be a lot of freedom as far as what she wants to do as an artist that is not also and hasn't always been a part of an artist's early solo or debut album narrative up until now, where artists that are coming out as solo artists, especially younger artists, they're able to have more say over their projects just because the production and the creation, the industry has completely changed. Streaming and just the accessibility, the resources, the tools, how easily we can all access kind of like those production tools. Everything has changed the game, and Chlöe is clearly taking advantage of that opportunity that she has at her hands to really define who she wants to be out the gate. Not being this package that is not fully representative of her on her debut. And, we may have to wait 3 or 4 albums to get the true Chlöe Bailey. She's like, I'm giving it to you now. And it's so exciting to see that there is so much versatility within what that artist is and who she is now, because that has not been necessarily a experience always afforded specifically to Black women in music, specifically to Black women in R&B music. And I think it is very important that we have and continue and have had over, the last several years, this expressed agency by the women of R&B to say, we want to do what we want to do. Our sound is shaped by R&B music. And it may be the foundation of how we view our artistry or these sonic elements of whatever. But at our core, we want to jump genres. We want to try different sounds. And Chlöe is a great example of that in action, and kind of like the new class, the new generation of R&B artists that are continuing to do and explore these sounds freely, just like so many of the icons, the R&B music icons have done before her. It's just something that was not intentionally called out or intentionally celebrated. And I myself am doing my part to call that out and just let folks know, like, this isn't new. R&B, the women of R&B have always explored genres, have always been multi-genre artists. Oftentimes, some of them don't even want to be, they want to be labeled as such, the kind of being able to move through multiple sounds. So, man, cool to Chlöe, baby. Chlöe, honey, ma'am, this is it. And I'm so excited to see what comes next and how her artistry, it just continues to evolve, because this is an exciting moment. And I'm just excited more than anything to see a Black woman continuing. And like I said, this isn't anything new for Black women in music, but it's so exciting to see kind of the next wave, another generation, a Black woman, pop stars. I will always say, R&B music is pop music, and a Black woman that is her foundation is in R&B, and she's continuing to explore kind of what that looks like and what R&B means across all of these different genres, and how it influences and can be influenced by all these different genres. It don't get no better than that. It is quite the treat, pun intended. So yeah, that was just my quick analysis, kind of just talking through some thoughts I have on Treat Me, the strategy behind it. I want to do a more in-depth breakdown, and I also have another video that I'm working on based around another artist who I have been so excited to see what her debut solo album is bringing. I'm sure y'all probably can guess who it is. But I'll be releasing that one as well. But if you enjoyed kind of hearing these thoughts and me really just kind of thinking through and talking through what I have taken and what I've kind of analyzed or am now expecting after the Treat Me release from Chlöe's debut album, or kind of what the clues are that she might be dropping about what she's going to give us. If you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe. I'm going to continue to do more music analysis and kind of just talking about the songs, the albums, the artists that really move me, I love, and that have left me inspired as I continue to consume music, which I myself love and has always been very much an artistic passion of my own. So again, my name is Trey. Be sure to subscribe. Let me know what you think about Chlöe, about Treat Me, what Chlöe's solo era may be giving, what you're expecting. And yeah, I'll see you next time.